Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's Team Rocket again. I got another video here for you guys. This is another this or that. This one's got a little bit of a bonus to it. Now I'm going to do 3 cards. Okay, let's get started with it. Basically, I'll show you the cards and then I'll talk about them a little bit more. So we've got 7 Tools, Trap Stun, and Decree. Basically, every duelist who needs to negate traps, maybe they have an issue with them, these 3 cards will come up when you're in your deck building process, and you have to make a decision on which one to play. And they may seem like they all kind of do the same thing, they just negate traps, but it really does make a big difference which one you decide to go with. And it's going to depend on the deck that you're playing. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to say right now that Royal Decree is the one that stands out from the other ones. Because if you're playing Decree, you can play traps, but it becomes risky, and you kind of have to build your deck around Decree. You can't just splash in any deck and expect it to work. So with that in mind, I'm going to eliminate Decree, not because it's worse, but just because it needs a specific deck, and if you're playing that deck, then you're playing Decree, and you don't really need to be worrying about the other ones as much. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that, and we'll just do this as a true this or that, I guess. We'll go with Trap Stun and 7 Tools. Obviously, the pros of 7 Tools is spell speed 3. Does have the cost of 1,000 life points, but you can negate a Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment, which kind of makes that life points not a big deal because your opponent's taking more life points unless they are against the wall and they have to activate Solemn, in which case you're probably winning anyway. Trap Stun is an interesting card because it's not a guaranteed 1-for-1 like 7 Tools is. You almost have to use it in anticipation of your opponent. So in that aspect, I think Trap Stun takes a little more, let's say, skill to play. So maybe if you're a beginning player or you're just starting playing a deck or you're playing in a meta that you're not familiar with, maybe you're trying new locals or something, 7 Tools might be better for you. Just in case, Trap Stun, you don't know what people are going to play, you have a hard time reading other players maybe, and you don't want to waste a Trap Stun. Like if you just start your turn, activate Trap Stun, and go ahead and do what you're going to do, and they didn't have an answer for it anyway, you wasted a card. And Trap Stun is basically a minus when it comes to that. But with 7 Tools, you can wait until they do something, and then you can negate it, making it a 1-for-1. So, with Trap Stun, yeah, you could wait until they activate that Deep Prison, Meteor Force, Torrential, Chain of Trap Stun, and stop it. But you're likely, you're going to run into a Warning or a Solemn Judgment, and there's nothing you can do. You just wasted it. So for the general deck, if you're just looking to splash a card in there, maybe as that 6th, 7th, 8th trap or something, I'd go with 7 Tools. But if you are playing a deck that has Oppression or some other face-up trap that you want to be able to shut off for a turn, that's where Trap Stun comes in. It's really useful if you have an open Oppression or face-up Oppression, and you've been using it against your opponent, but you finally drew your combo pieces, maybe you're playing Sabers or Samurai or something, and you need to go off that turn, you flip the Trap Stun, do whatever you need to do, and then on your opponent's turn, the Oppression turns back on. So it's almost like a Cold Wave, which is actually really cool. Cold Wave was banned for a reason. So Trap Stun in combo decks is going to be the better choice, but if I'm just going to say in general, the better card is 7 Tools, because it actually will give you advantage. Well, it doesn't actually give you advantage, but it's always a 1-for-1. You won't take a minus with 7 Tools, and you can get your opponent to pay a lot bigger life points for that. You can just wait, and you don't have to anticipate anything with this. You can be reactionary, and sometimes with traps, that's all you need to do is just be reactionary. So if I'm going to say this or that between 7 Tools and Trap Stun, I'm going to go with 7 Tools unless you're playing a combo deck. On personal preference, if I was going to play either of these, I really like to just run Decree. Just for Decree, I like to be able to not have to worry about traps for a turn. And if you are playing Decree and maybe some Solemn Warnings and stuff, this is going to draw your opponent's MSTs and protect your other traps, which is actually an interesting dynamic. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video. No promises on that though. So this or that, I'm going to go with 7 Tools. You can't really go wrong either way, but it's really hard to misplay a 7 Tools. You can screw up with a Trap Stun and just waste it, but you can't really waste the 7 Tools. So I'm going to go with 7 Tools. Let me know what you guys think. And I might post a new video. I saw One of my teammates was just telling me the guy who won Nats actually played a Dark Bribe instead of 7 Tools. I'm still going to look into that, maybe test that out and see how it plays. But for right now, I'm going to stick with 7 Tools as the best option. So, peace.